by Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky, there's a blue thing that says perpetual care. Somebody must have paid thousands of dollars that forever it'll be taken care of. So Nebuch, you take a look over here, there's nothing and there's weeds here. You know, because either the family couldn't afford it or whatever the story is. But that means till that year that it's been paid for. It runs out and they have to repay every year. Mrs. Taub. Okay. This caver over here, the tall one, is right over here is Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky. We're going to talk about him and then we're going to talk about Rab Reuven Grozovsky. Emmanuel, keep it far away.
Keep it
as far as you can.
As far as you can. Keep it behind. The echo.
Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky lived to be 95 years old. He was born in 1891 and it was nifta in 1986. And the midah that he felt, that's the reason that he was Zoicha Tarichas Yomim, was the midah of emes. And if all of us want to be mispalel, if all of us, we have to move this. We have to just move it. If all of us want to be mispalel, the idea of the inyan of honesty and the inyan of emes is the thing to be mispalel for here. I want to begin by telling you a very interesting Rabbeinu Bechaya. Rabbeinu Bechaya says that we daven every day, we say the pasuk, Korev Hashem l'chol koirav l'chol asher yikra'uhu be'emes. That Hashem is close to all who call him with emes, with sincerity. Except Rabbeinu Bechaya has a very unique pshat, and he says like this, Kol hamachzik b'midas ha'emes. Any person that's honest, a person that doesn't lie, a person that doesn't try to deceive, whether it's Yidden or Goyim, Tfilosai nishmas, his tefillah will be heard. We come now on Aseret Yemei Tshuva and we want that our tefillah should be heard. We have to make a Kabbalah at this Heilige Kever that from now on will be erlach and honest and not cheat and not be deceptive. V'chein Omar David HaMelech, that's the pshat he says. Korev Hashem, Hashem is close. L'chol asher yikra'u be'emes, to all who can say to Hashem, I am a person of honesty. I want to show you what it means, the inyan of honesty by Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky. Rabbi Yaakov, his wife was very sick, and he wanted to get a bracha from Rab Moshe. Now he had Rab Moshe's unlisted number, and his children who told me the story, they said, we asked our father, why don't you call Rab Moshe on his unlisted number? His regular number is busy, everybody's calling him with different shilas. So Rabbi Yaakov said, the only reason I was given Rab Moshe's number in case there's an emergency in Klal Yisrael and I have to reach him right away. My wife's being sick as a personal matter. It's not a matter of an emergency of Klal Yisrael. I have no right to use the number. Imagine that was the Erlachkeit of Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky. His son told me, Rabbi Yamin, who had a yeshiva in South Shore, it started for little children. And you know, little children are obviously not tall. And he wanted to put the mezuzah lower down so that all the kinderlach would be able to kiss the mezuzah when they walked into class. And Rabbi Yaakov said, you're not allowed to do it. Put a little stool there so they can stand and they'll touch the mezuzah. But putting the mezuzah lower is a lack of truth. It's not emes. And you cannot be mechanech children in a thing that's not emes. So it's better that it should be out of reach for them. Either they'll jump up or they'll get a chair or a stool, but it has to be with the midas ha'emes. To show you what he felt about chinuch, there's a wonderful mechanech in South Shore Yeshiva today. His name is Rab Chanina Hertzberg. So Rab Chanina once told me that when he was a Rebbe in Tveres Moshe, long before he became a principal, there was a bocha that he was teaching that simply could not understand the Gemara. And he went to Rabbi Yaakov, because Rabbi Yaakov was a master teacher, a master pedagogue. And he said, Rosh Hashiva, tell me, how can I reach this child? I've tried to explain it in so many different ways. Teach me. And Rabbi Yaakov said an amazing thing. He said, daven for your Talmud. That was the last thing he was thinking about. He was looking for a method to reach the child. And Rabbi Yaakov told him, daven. I have a dear friend, his name is Rabbi Rafal Mendowitz. He's a Rebbe in Silver Springs, Maryland. He told me the thing that made the greatest impression on him was he was learning in Philadelphia. Rav Mendel Kaplan was one of the Rosh Hashivas there. And Rav Mendel asked him, what's your parents' name? And he was frightened because he asked him before Rosh Hashanah. He said, do you know something about me that I don't know? Like he thought maybe he was sick. And the Rebbe was asking for his parents' name because he wanted to daven for him. He said, no, I daven for all my Talmidim on Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. And anybody here who is a teacher, who's a Rebbe, who's a Mora, Machanech, Machaneches, you should know that's what Rabbi Yaakov felt. The way that you can reach your children, your Talmidim and Talmidas, is not only with methods of teaching, but it's also by davening for them. That was his approach as far as a tefillah and reaching a Talmud. I just want to share with you a very personal, interesting insight that I personally got from Rabbi Yaakov. My father, Olav Shalom, and Rav Shmuel Kamenetsky, Yibod L'chaim, were roommates in Nei Yisrael. They were roommates and they used to faher each other on Masechta Nedorim Baal Peh. They were very close. So all the years, the Kamenetskys, we always had like an open door to Rabbi Yaakov because he was always grateful for the friendship that my father had to his son, Rav Shmuel. And Rav Shmuel is always very close to me. I can call him at any time. So what happened was that when my children, and Mrs. Kindler, you'll appreciate this, when my son Avram was ready to go to yeshiva here in Queens, there were two yeshivas. There was Or Yisrael and there was Tveres Moshe. And so I knew that Rabbi Yaakov was the greatest machanech. So I went to Rabbi Yaakov to ask him which school I should send my children to. My son Avram Zelik, who was the oldest of my two boys. So I went to Monsey and I'm talking, and I told him about each school. And I don't know what possessed me to tell him this, but I said in Or Yisrael, the principal, the Menayel, he insists that every Rebbe has to have a beard. In Tveres Moshe, not every Rebbe had a beard. So Rabbi Yaakov looked at me and he said to me, and why don't you have a beard? So I told him whatever I told him. So he said, you have to send to Tveres Moshe. I said, Rosh Hashiva, of course I'll send to Tveres Moshe, but you say it like with such a tkifus that I have to send to Tveres Moshe. He said, yeah, I'll tell you why. Listen to the insight of a Gadol. He said, a father who doesn't have a beard, who sends his child to a yeshiva, that the policy of the yeshiva is that every Rebbe has to have a beard, even though they'll never say anything. By the time that child is in 7th grade, he's going to think you're a goy, because you don't have a beard. Now, they'll never say anything. And of course, I sent my son to Tveres Moshe, and I sent my other son to Tveres Moshe, and I give you a bracha that you should all have nachas from your kids like I have from mine. Both of them finished Shas, Baruch Hashem. My son Avram just recently made a Shas. It took him 30 years, but it's Shas Be'iyah, and he gives a shir in Waterbury. And today, both my sons have beards. Don't ask me. I don't know why. That's their situation, not mine, or Moni Melvin's. But the idea is that was the insight of Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky. I just want to tell you just one more thing about him, and then we'll all be able to be mispalel. We all want a long life, and we know, as we said, the Midas HaEmes, that Rav Yaakov said, that was the reason. You should know that he once said that Miyayim Sha'omed Al Datoi, from the day that he became mature as a child, that he never said something that wasn't true. There was a Rebbe who once accused him of lying. He said it took him many, many years to be Meichel that Rebbe, because that was the midah that he kept with, and that's why he felt that he had the schus farichas yomim. I just want to end with this thing. Rabbi Yamin once told me, his son Rabbi Yamin told me, I don't know where he got this from, maybe he got it from his father, what the word mazel stands for. Mazel stands for mokaim, zman, and loshain, mem, zayin, lamed. If you're in the right place, at the right time, and you say the right thing, that's mazel. And the brocha that we learn from the Kamenetskys is that they had mazel with their children. The parent was always there for them. Zman, they spent quality time. And Loshen, more than anything else, they were zeicha to say the right things to inspire their children. And that's perhaps what we should daven over here. We're going to say Kapitel Tes Vov together, get out your tillins, because it says Doiver Emes Bilvovai. That's what Rabbi Yaakov was. But we should be mispalel to the Rabbeinu Shalom, Schutz Rabbi Yaakov. We should have mazel with our children. We should be able to be there for them, spend quality time, and more than anything else, Loshain, to be able to say the right things to inspire them. So let's say Kapitel Tes